Okay, so the first thing I had was affinity seeking strategies. I chose communicating interest in the other person and include him or her in your social activities and grouping. So I chose the book The Big Friendly Giant for this, written by Randolph Dahl. Um, you can see this on page 11 to 12. The Big Friendly Giant showed interest in Sophie, but instead of really talking to Sophie like a normal person, he just kind of kidnapped her. He took her. And this was kind of creepy, scary, just not right. So I think that this was unsuccessful because he was showing interest in the person to involve them in social activities, such as social activities in his daily life, but he didn't do it in the right way. All right. I have another example, and this one's a success from the same book, The Big Friendly Giant, written by Randolph Dahl. And I chose that he like regained everybody's trust and stuff, through appearing honest, reliable, and interesting. And I said that this happened on pages 100 to 112 to 120. And this was the breakfast scene with the queen, and I think he regained their trust because he was like, "I'm not so scary," and he tried to show them that he had good intentions. All right. After that, I have the positive phase, which was unsuccessful in this case. It's not necessarily that it was unsuccessful. It was more so it was successful with the children, but he was bashed for it by adults who were viewing the program. So I chose Dr. Phil because he's bashing these kids in this video. And it's like a video of the top 10 moments on his show where he like calls out kids on the way that they disrespected people and so on and so forth, but he goes back and forth and uses disrespect against them, and that wasn't viewed so well by the audience. So I said Dr. Phil bashes kids on their actions and uses disrespect against the individuals. You can see this in the video, and the second person in the video, um, they were like, "I'm really special," and he's like, "What's so special about you? Like, tell me, what's so special about you? You're probably like less than average kind of thing." And he's like, "Let's put you all over your school. How would that make you feel?" And it didn't really work out with that person or that particular individual, but he still like bashed her. He was going against her. And then again, you can see it in the fourth person. She was a bully, and she would tell students that they were ugly, and that's kind of childish. But he was like, "You're not very smart. You're not very smart at all." And he straight up told her she's not very smart. And then in asking her why she would do something like that, she pretty much said, somebody has to tell him. So he went and bashed her and then used her own actions against her. And in the end, told her, "You're stupid for doing that, stupid for thinking that. But I'm sorry, somebody had to tell you." And I was like, wow. So I was like, this was unsuccessful because, the parents were just like, what is he thinking? All right. After that, we have negative face, but this was used successfully, I believe. Okay, so this video that I have linked in here is a really it's kind of funny. Um so pretty much Judge Judy is like trying to figure out a case, as she does. And there was a girl that her purse was stolen, and she was like, "This guy stole it from me." So, Judge Judy didn't demand, she requested for that girl to explain what was in her purse, like the items in the purse. But this led to this case being solved. And you might be thinking, what? That doesn't make sense. But so the defendant actually, I think it was the defendant, but he, as she was going through the items that were in her purse, she said something like, um, and a calculator, and he stopped her and he goes, "There was no calculator in there," and he literally just threw off the entire case. So her just requesting that, the girl that's purse was stolen explain the possible items in her purse, literally ended the case. Like, it just solved it on the spot. And I just thought that that was a good idea, or not idea, but example for this. All right. So believed credible. I said that this one was unsuccessful, and it's President Trump. And not to be political, because I'm not necessarily political. I have him in a few of my examples. It's just that he's so well known because he's the president that it's just common for me to understand certain things that he does, and so on and so forth. And so, with everything going on, not only that, it just, it's just something big. So, President Trump is uncredible or believed uncredible because he interrupted so much during that debate with Biden that it just seemed childish. Like, it literally took away some of his credibility. Like, it just ruined his reputation a little bit. Like, I don't know. It was childish. And, if you're supposed to be a president, you're not going to babble back and forth like a 6-year-old, you know? So it took away some of his credibility. And then when President was asked by Biden if he had any plans, he was avoiding the question. He literally had no plans. He's been saying this entire time, I have plans, I have plans. But when somebody asks him, what are your plans? He refuses to share those plans. And so it makes him a little like untrusted, so he's like uncredible. Like people are like, oh, I don't know about you. So yeah, if you watch the debate, that's what I linked as my example for that. All right. And then this girl, she's a teenager. She's 16. I said, was believed credible and very successful with it because she's an activist for climate change. She was actually really big. Um, what year was it? I believe it was like 2019, 2018, beginning of 2019. She went like on a strike almost, like she skipped school for a little while, and you know, she was like, this needs to change kind of thing. And I think she's autistic, and that was another thing that made it her really big. Like, wow, she's speaking out, like, and I linked one of her very, very, like, it's a very emotional speech. I find it very strong, and it's one of the reasons that I found her credible. It's one of the reasons that I found her actually was through this speech that she gave. And if you haven't seen it, I suggest you watch it because it's slightly heartbreaking, but that's why I thought that this was successful because, as a 16-year-old, she's traveling around the world spreading the news about why this climate change is an issue. And she's saying all these big speeches, and she's only 16. Like, that's a little bit crazy. All right. Oops. My bad. All right. So here's my one of my other examples of Trump. I said that he used the self-handicapping strategies unsuccessful. And this is because there are like 4 different cases where, you know, he tried to get out of things. And because he's president, these cases are well known. Like, if it happened every once in a while and not in such a big cluster, so close together, it would be like, okay, that's understandable. But it's like a constant theme with him is that he's trying to use these excuses to get out of things. So, for example, the mask thing, I don't think this was necessarily like an excuse, but he was like, he was talking on the debate, and he was like, if you see Biden, he goes everywhere with this big old mask and you don't need it. And, and he's like, I only wear my mask when it's required. But now that he has Corona, he's kind of like point blame, like, And then you have the virtual debate. He's refusing to join it. And it's kind of like, why? And it's because there were rule changes and other things. And then he was not telling the data or anything about the COVID cases or anything like that. And he kept interrupting in the debate. And those were things that were just kind of like, really? So, and the interrupting in the debate, he tried to use the excuse that, well, his points were kind of wrong, so like this and that. And then for the not telling data, he was like, oh, well, if I would have told everybody the data, people would have been panicking. Okay, that's understandable, but you're kind of supposed to tell us, And I've listed a document that's constantly updated, and it's about all of the things that he's lied about. but tried to get away with or tried to use an excuse recently, and it's updated like every few days, every day kind of thing. So after that, I have the successful version, and this was, I believe, Lady Gaga. She wore a meat dress on stage and ended up vomiting. And, audiences were like, audience members or vegetarians or anything like that, when they saw the meat dress, they were kind of offended. But she explained that, her costume designer or whatnot was the reason that she wore it. And, she's known for wearing these big old costumes and stuff, but the meat one hit a little hard on some people, and she was like, "Oh guys, I'm so sorry, it's like these people made me wear it," kind of thing. And that got her out of it a little bit. Not only that, she vomited on stage. So some people were thinking it was the smell or possibly just her nerves, which made her seem more like everybody else, which was just boosted the success. All right. Self-depicting strategy successes. I don't think I said that right. Okay, but Taylor Swift. She asked for people's help to vote in 2018 on something that was very important to her in a political way, and people actually did get up and vote. They helped her, and this was a success for that reason. And one of her quotes from her Miss Americana movie was, "It's really basic human rights, and it's rights and wrong at this point." And I can't see another commercial and see her disguising these policies behind the words Tennessee Christian values. Those aren't Tennessee Christian values. I live in Tennessee and I am Christian. That is not what we stand for. And that was really important because it boosted people to vote on this thing. And like, she's just like, guys, you got to get out, you got to vote, and that was really important. Okay, after that, oh, there's a picture of her. I forgot I did that. Okay, after that, we have something unsuccessful. We have the Narvarian member. I don't think I said that right. I don't know why. Anyways, his name was Kurt Cobain, and he failed to get help when he needed it for battling with depression. And everybody missed the signs after his first attempt. So this was kind of sad. And he was a really big artist, and if he would have reached out for help, or if somebody would have noticed his signs sooner, we could have changed that. So that was something unsuccessful. All right, we have self-monitoring strategies, and this was an unsuccessful one. Madison Beer, she is 21, and she's a famous TikToker, and she hides way too much from the public. For being somebody so famous, she hides way too much. She shows the internet and people on social media how she wants to be viewed. She's like, okay, if I look like this, I act like this is how I want to be viewed. Everything else, I'm going to hide it from everybody. And she also had many plastic surgeries in the past, and it's been proven by many cosmetology people. And she lies about it straight to everybody's faces, which just isn't right. Like, I get it if you don't want to share it, but just don't lie. Like, it's just gonna dig a deeper hole. So she's monitoring it too much to where people just don't believe her. She tries to pretend that she's perfect, and she's not. You can't be perfect. There is no perfect. Show your imperfections. All right, and then this is somebody that I believe is successful. She's recently becoming popular. Her name is Sienna May Gomez. She's also a TikToker, and she's 16, and she spreads body positivity. She actually got famous from like 2 different videos. One of them was like, she posted it just for her friends, and it blew up. And it was like, she was like, I just ate, and she like had her stomach out, and she was like, it wasn't like nasty or dirty or anything. She just, showed that she had a little bit of weight on her, and she was like happy and dancing and just happy with her life. And it really boosted a lot of people's like happiness as well. And so she became really big for that. And I think she monitors her self well, as in the way that she portrays herself as she has imperfections. And other than that, she's like, sh there's things that she does that she only posts certain things so that people see her a certain way, but she also shows the fact that she has impurities, which I think is a perfect balance, and that's why I said she's successful, because she posts a lot of body positivity things, and I think it makes sense that she would just post that because that's how she got famous. All right. After that, I have influencing strategies successful. And I think that the judge here in Alpena, which I know him kind of personally, I think that he is commonly known by like many people in Alpena, as we are small, and he is favored, and he doesn't push his powers overboard. He uses them just right. And I think that's what it means to be successful in influencing strategies. All right. I'm taking forever. I'm so sorry. And then influencing strategies unsuccessful. Again, I have Trump. Not a political thing. Just he's commonly known, and there's all this stuff going around about him, so I know more. So President Trump was trying to ban TikTok, and it was unsuccessful. It didn't turn out the way he wanted it. And it was for self gain because people were kind of talking bad about him on there, and there were some other things in it as well. But that was one of the main reasons that a lot of people had talked about was, oh, people are talking about him and saying all these bad things, or they're doing this and doing that, and he doesn't approve of it, so he's going to ban it. So that's why I was like, it's unsuccessful. So many people use the app. You're not going to be able to ban it. It's super popular and so much more. Image confirming strategies successful. So Whitney Houston, she used image to portray someone who has conquered so much, to show that people who go through a lot can still become big. They can still be something bigger than what happened in their past lives, or not past lives, but in their when they were younger. And what I mean by that is like, you know, she's showing herself as somebody who's strong and this and that, and she doesn't show like, I don't know. It just, it makes sense that it works. She shows that she came from the bottom and she can still make it to the top, and it's just very influential. Okay. Image confirming strategies that are unsuccessful. Dixie D'Amelio, she's another TikToker. She's 19. She's a songwriter and artist as well. And she is trying to top her perfect sister, or so we call her perfect. Her sister blew up in the summer of 2018, 2019, I think it was. It was summer 2019. Her sister is Charli D'Amelio. She's a famous dancer on the app. She gained millions of followers pretty much overnight. It was crazy. And Charli is seen as this perfect person, yada yada yada. And literally, if you looked up Dixie, she used to be like, if you looked her up and that, the person icon thing that pops up, it would pop up Charli's older sister. And so she tried super hard to top Charli in many ways. She's gaining followers like crazy, trying to show that she's just as good as her. She's writing songs, trying to do more just so that she seems perfect. She seems like a better option for you to follow. And, it's not like she's trying to show it like that, but that's the way it's coming off, because she's older than her sister that's more famous than her. And I don't think she likes that. She's very supportive, but it's just the way that she's doing it is a little unsuccessful. But that's about it. All right. Thank you so much.